Hello YouTube, this is MTG Stealerman coming at you live with spoilers for Magic Origins. We have for the first one, Patron of the Valiant, 5 mana costing, 2 white, free colorless, creature angel. When Patron of the Valiant enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter. It is a 4/4 creature. Elameret, High Arbiter, 5 colorless, 2 blue, 5/5, flying, legendary creature Sphinx. As Elameret, our High Arbiter, enters the battlefield, each opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose the name of a non-land card revealed this way, and your opponent can't cast spells with the chosen name of the chosen card. Yep. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be too viable in Standard. It would be more viable in Limited. Yeah. Zendikar Incarnate. 4 mana cost, 2 colorless, 1 red, 1 green, creature elemental. Zendikar Incarnate power is equal to the number of lands you control. I don't know about you, but if you're going for a big deck with, kind of like a Devotion green deck, or maybe like a green-red monsters deck, I would consider this. This is pretty good, because usually in those decks you would want to get a whole bunch of mana. Or even in like the Devotion deck, or not Devotion, but Manifest deck, I don't know. Maybe a splash for red, I don't know. Sphinx is tutelage, I don't know. 2 colorless, 1 blue. Enchantment, whenever you draw a card, target opponent puts top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. If they both are non-land cards and that share a color, repeat that process. Pretty good, pretty good. I would say more viable for that part rather than the 5 and 1 blue, draw a card, then discard a card. I could honestly see it in a standard mill deck, depending on what we get in coming days. But yeah, let's see what else. Enchant Elemental Bond, 2 colorless, 1 green. Whenever a creature with power 3 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. I could see it. I could see it in monsters. I could see it in some different things, but it depends. Depends on how good you need to card draw, how much. Yeah, it depends on a lot of things. Depends on your LGS meta, I guess. Pia and Huron Nalar, legendary creature, human artificer. When Pia and Huron Nalar enter the battlefield, put 2 colorless 1/1 Thopter artifacts, creatures, tokens with flying onto the battlefield. 2 and a 1 red. Sacrifice an artifact. Pia and Huron Nalar deal 2 damage to target creature or player. Sorry if I'm messing these names up. Oh. Alright, so I honestly don't see it in Standard, just because it uses more artifacts, and I don't think artifacts is too viable in Standard right now. But yeah, guess we'll have to see what else. And hey, Chandra Nalar's parents. Who would have guessed? I honestly think this could be a good elf deck, depending on what kind of elves we get. It is Dwayne. It's Dwayne The Rock Johnson, guys. What up? Dwayne and Guiltleaf Dayan. Legendary creature, elf warrior. Reach. Other elf creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever Dwayne, Dane attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking elf you control. Like I said, if elves are viable and they put more elves in Standard, I could see it working, depending, you know. I honestly love this card. It is Gideon with much better stuff. It's a 1-cost planeswalker, so who wouldn't want it? Kaphian, Hero of Akros, legendary creature, human soldier. At the end of combat, if Kaphian, the Hero of Akros, and at least 2 other creatures attack this combat, exile him. and transform him under his owner's control. Yeah. Pretty good. He also has 2, 1 white. Gideon gains indestructible until end of turn. That's pretty good. Especially because you're going to be attacking with him and you want to keep him alive. Gideon Battleforged. Planeswalker Gideon. Starts off with free loyalty. Up to 1 target creature you control, an opponent controls, attacks Gideon if it's able to during its next turn. So, alright. What I would more like is its +1. Until next turn, target creature you control gains indestructible. Untap that creature. It technically says target creature gains indestructible, but why would you want to target your opponent? I don't know, but yeah, I guess you could do that. Until end of turn, for its 0 ability, it becomes a 4/4 human soldier creature with indestructible and prevent all damage that would be dealt to it this turn. Pretty good, pretty good. Chandra's Ignition. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature an opponent controls, or something like that. Sorry, guys. I will reread this. Free, 2 red. Sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature each opponent. Okay. That's better. So pretty much each creature, each opponent. Alright. I could see this being good with a lifelink guy that had it indestructible. That would be pretty good. Yeah. Ravaging Blaze. Ravaging Blaze deals X damage to target creature. If there are 2 or more instant sorcery cards in your graveyard, Ravaging Blaze also deals X damage to that creature's controller. Okay. And that is 2 red and X. And yeah. Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Legendary creature, human, wizard. Draw a card, then discover a card. If you have 5 or more cards in your graveyard, transform them. Jace Telepath Unbound. Unbound, or transform him from this. +1 up to 1 target creature you control gets -2 and -0 until end of your next turn. -3. You may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that card would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. -9. You get an emblem with, when you cast a spell, target opponent puts the top 5 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Fair enough if you want to go with a mill strategy. Nissa, Vastwood Seer. When Nissa, Vastwood Seer enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic card, forest card. Reveal it and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands, exile Nissa, then return her to the battlefield transformed under her owner's control. When she is transformed, Nissa, Sage Animist. Planeswalker Nissa, oh boy. +1, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. -2, put a 4 legendary green elemental creature with the name Ashaya the Woken World onto the battlefield. -7, untap up to 6 target lands. They become 6/6 elemental creatures. They're still lands. Okay. Chandra, Fire of Nalar. Sorry, guys. Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh. Okay. Legendary creature, human shaman. Whenever you cast a red spell, untap Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh. Tap. She deals 1 damage to target player. If you deal 3 or more damage to her, transform her. Chandra, Roaring Flame. +1, Chandra Roaring Flame deals 2 damage to target player. -2, Chandra deals 2 damage to target creature. -7, Chandra Roaring Flame deals 6 damage to each opponent. Each player dealt damage this way gets an emblem with free damage during each of their upkeeps. Okay. I could see this being very inactive, to be honest, and I could see it counterproductive. One, because Deflecting Palm can deflect it, deal the damage to you, and then you have your own 6 damage and you're dealing 3 to yourself each turn. I don't like it, but yeah. That's one of the many things, I guess. Alright. Mizium Meddler, 2 in the blue. Creature of Adelkin Wizard, Flash. When Mizium Meddler enters the battlefield, change the target spell or ability to this card. I could see this going in standard, just because it's a kind of a less good part of Spellscape, but I don't know, like, what do you guys think? I don't see this being viable, I don't think. Let me remember what this is. Oh no, I saw this is viable. Okay. Displacement Wave. X in 2 blue. Sorcery. Return all land permanents with converted mana cost X or less to their owner's hands. I could see this going up against a token deck. I could see it up against pretty much control if need to be. I could see even control using this card, so pretty good. Pretty good. And then that's not. There's a whole bunch of commons, but